Yeah, yeah. Started, huh?
Yeah, can't
Oh,
you see that
hi guys.
recording?
Welcome to the first episode of our podcast. Uh, since all of you are like gonna be new viewers here, I'm Pratik. I'm a United fan. Been supporting United since 2006, 2007. That's like the earliest memories I have. And with me is Shashank. Say hi, Shashank.
Hey guys, this is Shashank. I have been supporting Spurs since 2016, I think. And yeah, I just had a lot of friends watching football back in undergrad, and they kind of pulled me into watching it. And since then, I think there was no turning back. So I think we are going to talk a bit about. So I mean, it's pretty apparent that both of us have our clubs. We are repping them with our jerseys and whatnot. So we wanted to preview tomorrow's game between Spurs and United. It's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we have a few points that we wanted to talk about. I think Pratik will start off with.
Yes, yes. I think first thing, we're like a considerable amount of games into the season. I think it's a fair point where you can evaluate how our teams have done so far. And I think both of us have more than a few complaints about how our teams played so far. So I'll just get started. My wounds are still fresh from the recent game against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Uh,
Must have been
the
fun to
season
watch
started
though.
off absolutely. So the season started off well. We had like good wins against Leeds, against Newcastle. Everything seemed to be going well. I mean, we weren't keeping clean sheets, but if you're scoring like 4 or 5 goals a game, it's fine if you concede one or two. We always thought that our defense would improve, but then our goal scoring has stopped. We lost what 4-2 to Leicester, final to Liverpool. I mean, since the Leicester game, we knew that we were going to have a tough run of games because we have like Man City coming up, we have Spurs tomorrow, so it was always going to be tough. We wanted to, get off on the right foot against Leicester, but that did not happen. And then the Liverpool game, that was a complete disaster. And yeah, I think I'm as surprised as Ole right now as to why he's still at the job. I think that's about it about United season. I think Shashank can now continue about how Spurs have been, his favorite Spurs have
I
been this
thought you were
season.
about to say you're as surprised as Ole, but I didn't
Mhm.
realize. Okay, yeah, it made sense later on. Anyway, coming to Spurs season, I think we started off well. Well, as in never too many goals, all three 1-0s. Won 3 games in the beginning. The manager was on a high, got the manager of the month. And then the international break happened, and 3 consecutive losses, conceding 3 goals in each of them. Um, I think Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and Arsenal, all three being London derbies, and losing was pretty painful for fans to watch after 3 consecutive wins, especially. And you can kind of see the effect of Harry Kane coming back with almost no intent to be the goal scorer he has proven to be. And somehow his link up with Son has either been found out by teams, or they're just not in their element. More Kane than Son, but yeah, for a team which relies almost entirely on two of their superstars, I think both of them not being up there has been hard for the team. Uh, we picked up form a bit more, I think, recently. I think Nuno is trying to establish a little more possession-based game, and he's trying to um just keep the ball a little more than be his defensive self as a manager before at Wolves and the clubs. Uh, can see it a bit, but still a lot of work to do. Um, the last game against West Ham was pretty hard to take. I think Spurs dominated it well, but they just couldn't get the goal. I think they have a proper drought when it comes to scoring goals and creating chances. Yeah, lack of creativity and lack of sharpness in the final third, I think, is taking the team to places where they wouldn't want to be. So yeah, I
I
think
see.
that's
I
all
see.
my comments
I
about
think
Spurs.
uh,
I
I
think
think you started
currently,
for
if we just look at form, I think both the teams are kind of on par, but United just being a much superior team on paper probably gives them the edge tomorrow. And they have a point to prove. They have a manager to save. So a lot of things to look forward to. Yeah, so I think after this, we just wanted to talk about our respective team starting lineups, what we expect the manager to put on the field. Yeah, I think Prateek will start off with United's.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I've never been a huge fan of Nuno, but fair to say he's doing a decent job. I mean, you guys got off to a good start, as you said, but I don't think I'll ever fully accept that, Nuno is like a top 6 manager or a top 4 manager. So yeah, I mean, who am I to say? I have like Ole as a manager, so probably no better than Ole. So no better than Nuno. But yeah, so starting 11 wise, one big boost for United is Rafael Varane's back. He's been pictured in training over the last couple of days. We desperately needed him back. I mean, he's not perfect. We've already seen a few mistakes in him. Like he kind of has lapses of concentration, but we need that upgrade over Lindelof. I mean, even Maguire's been like extremely poor, but he's like the club captain. Ole has his favorites, and Maguire's one of them. So Maguire's going to start. So I think the back 5 kind of picks itself. You have David De Gea in goal. You have Van Bissaka at right back, Luke Shaw left back, and you have Maguire and Varane standing at centre back. Then it comes to the amazing midfield of Man United with
the core of the team.
Yes, the core of the team. We have so many options. We have the McFreds, we have the Matiches, the Pogbas. Oh no, Pogba suspended actually. No Pogba. So if you ask me, Ole's gonna go McFred. That's his, go-to midfield in big games. I don't know what he sees in them. God only knows. But to be honest, I think, yeah, probably lack of options.
Lack of quality choice, maybe.
Fred, I mean, like once in a while, Fred finds his Brazilian passport and plays.
I think Fred scored in the previous game at Spurs Stadium last season. I'm not sure.
Oh yes.
I remember Cavani scored. Yes. I remember Greenwood scored. I think.
Oh,
Fred
that was
scored.
was that the Son Oscar performance?
No, that was an.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Pogba touches him and McTominay touches him. He falls to the ground.
Yeah.
That was a good game. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. So coming back to the team, it's going to be McTominay and Fred in midfield. The front 4, Ronaldo's going to start. I have my reservations about the boy, but he's going to start. Bruno is going to start. And the doctor is going to start at left wing, Marcus Rashford, because he's probably been the only guy who's actually trying to do anything since he in the last 3-4 games since he's come back from injury.
He's been a real good addition back into the team, I think. He makes those runs. He just has that instinct to run forward, run past defenders.
That's what I was talking to you. Crazy. It's like after Rashford's comeback, my frustration over Sancho's grown bigger because, this guy comes back from injury, he's already trying to do things like score, assist or anything. Sancho, I mean, I know he needs time to settle down. I know he's proven to be a good player, but he's not that impressive when he's playing. He just like gets the ball, tries to dribble. If he can't, just passes it back to Luke Shaw. He doesn't take enough risks, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just been frustrating to watch Sancho. So on the right wing, this is tricky. I mean, he might go Sancho on the right wing. Rashford and Sancho never played together, so this could be a game to try it out. But I think he's gonna go Greenwood. I think Ole likes to be loyal to his players. Maybe if Pogba was fit, maybe Pogba would have played on the left wing and say Rashford would have played on the right wing. But since Pogba was suspended, I think it's going to be Greenwood on the right wing. So it's going to be the classic 4-2-3-1 with I don't know. Hopefully, try to play some football because last 1 month we've barely played football. It's like we try to hit teams on the counter or like Ronaldo saves us in the last minute, De Gea saves us. Yeah, it's been pretty crap to watch. So what do you think Spurs are going to line up? Is it going to be like a 5 at the back? Is it going to be 4 at the back? What do you think?
I don't think Spurs have played 5 at the back at all this season, and I don't think Nuno wants to bring his philosophy from Wolves. Also, I forgot to point out that we totally forgot to tell why we even started this podcast. I think one of the major reasons was that we usually end up spending hours in a week talking about our clubs talking about nonsense in football and outside football, but mostly in football. And we just thought we'll probably formalize it a bit more, which is kind of taking a toll on us. Just it feels awkward to talk like this, but whatever. So yeah, getting back to the starting lineup, I think the back five. I don't think Nuno will make a lot of changes from his previous starting 11, except for the right back. That is just my speculation, I think.
I mean, since Serge Aurier left, you guys haven't had good options at right back, so
not much.
Not much.
So Hugo Lloris in goal, left back Reguilon. I think Dyer and Romero will play centre backs, and I think Tanganga might play right back, but I'm not really sure because I think Nuno would want his defense to be very solid. That's just a guess. And Emerson played on Thursday for all 90 minutes in a game which I expected Tanganga to start. So I'm guessing he might start this just for solid defense. He is very good off the ball, pacey and strong. So maybe he can try to not let Rashford make those runs or just read them, hopefully. I don't think his experience helps, but that's the hope as any fan. Yeah, the holding mids, I think, will be Højbjerg and Skip. I think they've had a really good partnership, slowly building in the season. I'm a really big fan of Skip, not just because he's a Spurs academy player, but also because for a 21-year-old, I really think he has great composure. It's a very important role to play, and I think he's played it better than our other options, at least. So yeah, then the front four, I think Harry Kane and Heung-min Son will be there as the striker and the left wing. The attacking number 10, I'm not sure. I think he'll go for Tanguy and Ndombele, but I won't be extremely surprised if he goes for Giovanni.
Is he back fit? Is Lo Celso fit?
Yeah, he is fit, but he played, I think, 70 minutes or so midweek
and that's
on
not
Thursday.
That's not too bad. I think maybe if that gets a match fit, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. So yeah, not sure who will start. It's like not like we have amazing options, but we have some options where players are kind of unsettled and you don't really know who's the best one to pick. I think it just depends on the manager's mood and the training on the previous 2-3 days. And right wing, I'm guessing Lucas Moura will start. He had a good game against Burnley in the Cup, Carabao Cup on Thursday. So maybe he can help us get some goals or assists, which is always an expectation, but never a reality. But yeah, that's my predicted.
That's I think that's another thing we should probably mention. You guys have had a game midweek. Like United, we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup, so we've had like a week's rest, even though we've not been in good form. Yep. So yeah, let's see if that kind of affects the game in any way, because this might be like a proper end-to-end game. I mean, like both the teams like to play on the counter. It could be.
I thought United is more possession based. At least they try to.
Not really. I mean, not in the recent times. Like not in the last month at least. Like start of the season, we were actually very possession based. Like that was kind of a disadvantage because we always took an extra pass instead of going for the shot or going for the assist. It's just slightly frustrating, but now it's like we can barely pass the ball. So if Fred gets the ball and I'm like panicking here. I'm like, what is he gonna do?
More than him?
Yeah, more than him. Oh my God, Fred.
Bro,
and
we should actually include this thing also. What do you think is one biggest weakness in United? And
yes, we should actually talk about the biggest weakness in our team and maybe like the player to look out for. Who you think is gonna make the difference?
The star man.
Star man. I mean, yeah, it's straightforward for you guys because you guys barely have any star players. But for us, with all the options,
who's straightforward, by the way?
Kane, probably.
How can he be the star man with his current form? There's no way he can be the star man. I mean, he can be. He can.
I think Son has a better goal scoring history against United, no, compared to Kane.
Probably.
Yeah, Son.
At least in the recent past, yeah. Son is, I think, a good counterpart that Spurs have for Rashford. But yeah, I mean, we'll get there. Our combined 11s.
Come
Uh,
on, then it's
we'll
gonna get
get
juicy.
there. Yeah. And yeah, so what do you think is lacking in United? I mean, just one thing which
J-
is probably
just
lacking, the
ooh,
most important thing.
right now, I think I have to say morale. I don't know how the team morale is, because these losses take a huge hit on you. And another thing about United is that you always have a bad reaction in the media after a loss. So like after there've been so many useless speculations in the media, like even Pogba had to like explicitly come out and snub some of the rumors that he wants to leave if Ole is still the manager. That was like the rumor in one of the tabloids, and he came out on Instagram and Twitter saying that this is like this is crap. I'm coming out and like calling this out because of respect for the club and manager. I mean, fair play for him to come out and say that, but uh, the confidence is thin. Say we have like a tough first 10 minutes where you guys are attacking, even you get a goal. I don't think the team can recover mentally. Like we need to have like like settle down in the first 45 minutes. Like it doesn't matter if we score, but get some confidence back, not panic, because like right now our confidence is so fragile, our morale is so thin, like so bad that this can either be a drubbing, like if we lose it in the first 10-15 minutes, or we have a decent chance of winning it. So I think that is like the biggest weakness in the squad right now. I can obviously say midfield and attack, not an attacking wing back and all that, but I think this is like the biggest issue right now. What about you? What do you think is like the Achilles heel for Spurs right now?
According to me, it is the lack of sharpness or quickness that is required in passing and in making decisions. I feel like they take a bit too much time on the ball. I feel they don't play enough vertical football, which is something that I personally feel, or it's pretty apparent just in the way they try to create chances and they try to play football. Um, they are not very risk taking. I think you see that a lot in United, especially. I like seeing that, the fact that they always go for it as soon as possible. As soon as they get the ball, they don't think too much. They know that they have to try and create chances. They know that the more you create, the more odds in your favor to score. I don't think that is there in the team yet. They take their time on the ball. They're a little slow in transition. They play as a unit. I think that is good. I like that. There is some cohesion. I feel like it's more than in United's team, but the lack of sharpness and the lack of creativity usually hurts the team quite a bit.
I mean, yeah, that is like, I think it's like a double-edged sword, I feel, because I actually like the fact that Bruno, like Rashford, or even like sometimes Greenwood are very direct. They go for the kill. But recently, the other side of it is coming out where we're losing
Right.
possession. So if you get it right, you're good. You're gonna get a goal. But if like say when you're under pressure, when you're getting attacked continuously, sometimes it's just good to hold on to the ball. It's fine if you don't create anything for like the first next 5 minutes. Just hold on to the ball, let the defender settle down, let Fred get his bearings, reset his compass, kind of figure out which side is goal and which side is which side we're attacking. The guy needs like a couple of minutes to figure it out. I mean, that's I think a biggest criticism of Bruno that I have is that he's way too attacking. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we went from having like some Pereira playing in Cam where he like never made a forward pass to like Bruno who only makes forward passes. So
Right.
it sometimes breaks the cohesion in midfield. So yeah, I mean, in the end of the day, it's about balance, right? Would not want to see horizontal football, but this is like way too
I
vertical
think,
in my
I think,
opinion.
yeah, exactly. Our next segment, which is the combined 11, hopefully brings balance in the entire team. It's
Nah, nah, nah,
crazy.
nah. There is no balance. Like all
There's
out
no
attack.
way.
Let's go for it. Okay, since
Cool.
you brought it up, let's go for it.
Mm,
Combined 11.
mm.
So, okay, how do you want to do this? Do you want to like have like a 4-3-3 where three midfielders where system doesn't matter, or you want like a DM, an attacking midfielder? How do you want to do the 4-3-3?
I think we can do 4-2-3-1, right? That's the systems both of
Yeah,
our
actually,
teams
yeah,
play.
yeah,
So we can just
yeah.
pick
Fair,
we can just
fair,
pick
fair.
position to position. I think that's
Yeah.
easier.
Okay, starting with goalkeeper. I have to put David De Gea in. He's literally saved us 9 points this season already.
I think,
It really is.
for Spurs, I don't think Lloris has made a mistake till now, but he really never was called on to make challenging
Right.
saves as such. I think they mostly end up scoring in set pieces where he doesn't have a chance or just fuck up in defense.
Okay.
And yeah, so cool. I can give it to De Gea just for his seasons
Recent
before
form.
2018 and this current season, I think.
Yeah. Now let's do one thing. Let's just go by recent form, because like if you go historically, then you'll probably put some players like over others. Let's just go by recent form so that it settles the debate for this game.
Cool.
Like it's
Makes
not
sense.
yeah, fine, right. So left back. What do you think? How's Reguilon been this season?
Reguilon has been really good. I would say he's kind of found his form, which he had at the beginning of his first career last season. This season, I think he has been one of our main players who's in form with Ollie Skip and probably Human Song. But and Romero. Yeah, I think these 3, 4 have been good. But I think Reguilon has been pretty good. I'm not sure. I think Luke Shaw has been good too. His
I mean, if it
crossing,
was like last season, this wouldn't have been a debate. Like Luke
yeah,
Shaw would get in, but I'm
yeah,
not been very, impressed with him this season. Like
yeah,
usually, I think it's probably because of like missing Rashford. Him and Rashford had this very good chemistry on the left wing. They used to, they knew each other
makes sense.
properly. He's not yet, gotten used to whoever plays him, like Sancho or Pogba who plays there. So I don't know. I don't think I can make a strong argument for Luke Shaw though. I mean,
Yeah, I,
home team,
I,
go for it.
yeah, it's hard to pick, but just based on form, I think we can give Reguilon this spot
Yeah.
for this combined 11.
Okay.
Center
Okay.
backs, I
So
think we both can agree that it should be Romero, and I don't know actually. Maguire hasn't hit his form,
nah,
so
nah.
I can't
Varane,
comment.
Varane maybe. Varane's been solid. I don't tell me you're putting Dyer. Like you're getting only
I'm
one
not
centre
putting.
back
I'm
spot.
not putting
Okay. Ha.
Dyer.
Ha.
I'm not putting
You're
Dyer.
putting
It
Dyer.
doesn't make sense.
So yeah. So
It's not like
technicality
Dyer has been
wise,
bad. In fact, if you were to choose form, Dyer has been better than Maguire.
yeah, not
Uh,
not better than Varane. Varane's been like solid for us in the games he's played.
I feel like the problem with picking any United centre back is that you
We
haven't
have considered
had
9 goals
one
in two
clean
games.
sheet. You have had one clean sheet in the past 14 Premier League games, which doesn't say anything about your centre back's qualities.
But
I'm not
Varane's
sure if
new.
it's
Varane's
because
new.
of, I understand that. Varane's
Yeah.
new. I'm sure his mistake has led to a goal this season in the Prem. There's no doubt about it. I remember one at least.
Hmm.
But yeah, just for his class, I think we can put in Varane there. One left foot,
Champions
one
Leagues, bro.
right
More
foot.
Champions Leagues than United. The guy has like 4 Champions Leagues. What a guy.
Yeah. So
Right
yeah,
back.
let's make it Varane. I think right back
Yeah.
has to be Wan-Bissaka. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
think
You guys
Emerson.
haven't had
I
like
feel like will probably evolve into a better right back, quality wise on the ball.
Mhm.
But just Bissaka has proven he's really
Yeah,
good off the
he's
ball. He's easily the best
he's been solid. Like
one on
in
one.
last couple of games, even on the ball, he's improved a lot. Like you can see that he's starting to take risks, play forward passes. I mean, he doesn't like he's not very natural on the ball like a Trent or like a Reece James,
You
where
never
who look
compare anyone to Trent, but
yeah
okay.
yeah yeah
Trent
no,
is one of
on
a
the ball.
kind.
Like defensively, Bissaka is better, but Trent
Yeah.
has yeah, because they play in the same position. I brought his name up, but yeah, I mean I mean, the whole team has been unimpressive, but or of the players, I think he's shown some kind of improvement. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
So coming to the two holding midfielders, all yours, bro. I'm not even putting any names in that two midfield slot. It's all yours.
I think both have to be Spurs players. At least these two have been in good form. I don't know. I don't know if
Skip,
the
basically, see,
current
I thought about this. Skip is your new Winks. Every year you'll have this one midfield guy you guys obsess over. Last year it was Harry Winks, and this year it's
last
Skip.
year it wasn't Harry Winks. He barely played last year. Under Mourinho,
Yeah.
he didn't play. No,
Okay,
it was
under
only in
Poch he
Poch.
played a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I see.
That's the problem with this team. It feels a lot like a Pochettino team. So new managers haven't had, like Mourinho brought in Højbjerg, who's like a Mourinho signing, who makes sense as an addition to the team. But the rest of the players have always been under the influence of Pochettino, in the hangover of his philosophy of playing football, and it's just become hard for this Deadwood to kind of adapt to new systems, I think. But yeah, I like Skip because he hasn't had that influence on of Pochettino on him as much. So yeah, I think these two positions,
Those go to
first players would take it.
Mhm.
Front four, I really think,
Let's
except for left wing, I think the rest three should be United players. That's my pick.
hmm. Like yeah, I
What do you
guess
think?
so. Yeah, Bruno gets in for sure. Like because you guys don't have an established cam anyway, so
Yep.
Bruno gets in.
Bruno gets in.
Ronaldo
I
and
think
Kane would
Ronaldo
have
gets
been a
in.
debate, but Kane's Premier League form has
It's
been
been
very
pretty bad.
bad.
Not
So
just Premier
yeah,
League. I just feel like his heart is not
overall,
in the
yeah,
right
yeah.
place right now. And Ronaldo is a game changer. I don't know if even if Kane is in form, and I don't know. I mean, you can't comment. You have to, like we decided, current form. I think Ronaldo is definitely in a
And
more better form.
Son definitely has to get in. Maybe we can put Rashford on the right wing. He's played there before. Anyway, like I'd rather have Rashford than Greenwood, I guess, based on recent form. Like
Hmm.
Greenwood had like a good goal, like a couple against Leicester, but overall his contributions to the team have declined like almost steadily over the last month. So
Yeah.
I
Do
think
you
I'd put
attribute that
Rashford.
to Ronaldo's coming?
Dude, that's one more thing. I was reading about this theory. Like, I mean, it's not a theory. It's just these people who think they're statisticians on Twitter trying to come up with posts, right? This one kind of made sense. It's just that I think our whole defensive cohesion is being broken by the fact that Ronaldo doesn't press. Like, before we always had a striker who pressed. Like Cavani, even though he's like what
Cavani used to
35,
press
36,
really good.
he used to press like a mad dog. And then you had Martial, even though he was in bad form, he used to press. So that kind of, like we used to defend from the front. Now what happens is that Bruno has to, do Ronaldo's role of pressing, which leaves like a big hole in midfield. It's like you always be like 3 versus 2. You have already Fred and McTominay can't handle a 2v2. You put another player in there. I think that's possibly one of the reasons we are having defensive issues, because the rest of our team is not defensively good enough to have a passenger. I feel like to have Ronaldo as a passenger, you need to have good DMs, people who can work for others. I think we've been missing that.
Hmm.
So that's like Ronaldo is a game changer, but maybe sometimes the game slips away from us because of him.
I
So it's
actually
like
noticed that quite a lot today. I was watching PSG versus Lille, and I was actually surprised, not surprised, rather happy that I don't know if you got a chance to look at the game. Poch subbed out Messi
yeah,
during
Messi at
halftime,
halftime. Yeah, yeah.
and in the first half, Messi literally, I think, touched the ball some 3 or 4 times. He was not
Oh wow.
making any runs. He was not doing anything for the team. If the
hmm
ball is right by him, he wasn't trying to tackle it. I don't know why he was having that kind of a day, but
I think
I
it's like
think it was a very good call by the manager to not let
yeah.
him
I
stay
mean that's a
beyond that.
that's a big call. Like
That's a
taking
really big
Messi
call.
off. Yeah,
Yeah,
because Ole has
yeah,
been
he
Ole has
needed
been
real balls for that.
exactly. Ole has been he never takes off Ronaldo. I mean,
Right.
fair enough. He's got us the winners in like 2-3 games in the death. But sometimes just like when you're under pressure, just take him off. Like when it's 60th
Especially,
minute.
I think if you have a player like Cavani who you can bring off the bench,
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to keep someone who's probably not having a great day, even though they're Ronaldo or
Like there
Messi.
was this viral video that was on Twitter where I think this was one of the Champions League games. Like in the last minute, Ronaldo's trying to run down the left wing, and someone like overhits the pass, and he stops running. Then you have Cavani who chases the ball all the way from right wing and actually gets the ball and keeps it in play. So it's like this dude who's like 35. He's working so hard for the team.
Yeah,
So he definitely deserves a shot. I mean, give Ronaldo, like you can even like say Ole doesn't want to upset Ronaldo, which is probably the case because Ronaldo is the biggest ego in the team. You can probably even tell him like, take a rest, Ronnie,
someone
take a
to
day off. Yeah,
topple Pogba finally.
yeah. You just had twins, so go celebrate with your wife and kids. Let Cavani have this game or something. I mean, he needs to I don't know, he needs to sometimes
I feel like
take
that is
these big
exactly
calls.
what is lacking in United. The manager has to be someone every single player looks up to. And with such big egos in the dressing room, I feel like that's really hard. You can
Yeah.
see that with Pochettino as well. He just has such world class players, but as a manager, it's really hard for
That is
players of
true.
such
Yeah.
stature to respect them. I think, I don't know. It's just, I feel
I
like
mean,
it's
it's
a
like,
lack of
yeah.
grip on all the players. I mean, Ole sure has respect. I mean, I'm sure players have respect for him being a manager, being their manager,
Mhm.
and being an ex-player. But I feel like him as a manager lacks the authority that he needs to have. Um, I feel like you can clearly see that authority in Tuchel. You can clearly see it in Pep. They don't think twice to make
Yeah.
substitutions,
Yeah.
make changes, and people trust them. Of course, I mean, you'll always have Sterlings in the team who are not
Yeah, I think
satisfied.
it's like no, it's like I think it's the manager has to have earned his respect. I feel
Exactly.
like
That
yeah,
case, exactly, you can find it in Klopp. I didn't want to say that he has that kind of a arrogance, or I don't know how exactly to put it, but that kind of a grip. But players who play under Klopp have the trust of the manager. They believe in his system. I feel like if United can get a manager like that, I, I don't know. I don't want to take names, but maybe Zidane or Conte, I think,
like that. Yeah,
could.
that's the thing. It's like you need. Yeah, it's the biggest issue. I think it's like United need a person who can manage these egos. I mean, Zidane did a brilliant job at at Real Madrid because I mean we don't know much about Zidane as as a tactical coach. I mean, sure, like he has good tactics because like he won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. It's just not easy, but then all you had to do was manage these superstars. You had like
Exactly.
the best
And I
center back in
heard
the
that
world, the best left back.
I heard that he was a great man manager, probably one
Yeah,
of the
I
best.
mean it's
But the
Zidane. Like
problem
the
with
dude's one.
Zidane, I heard, is, I
Mhm.
mean, the problem with him coming here, of course, he'll have his team speaking Spanish or whatever, but the lack of his knowledge of English might be a big put off, is what I heard.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean,
just if you
yeah,
have to
it's.
objectively pick someone like that, then Conte might be a better manager. I don't know if he'll bring in the systems that you guys as fans would want to watch,
I
but
mean,
he'll
yeah, that is,
definitely
yeah.
bring in his experience and trophies to speak for his
Like the
merit, I think.
worst part about like this time is that there is no clear option as to who replaces Ole. I mean, like I don't think any fan is like completely on board with any manager. Like probably Ten Hag if we can get him out of Ajax, but which is probably not going to happen mid-season
But
when
I
he's
feel
doing
like
such a
he
brilliant
lacks the
job.
experience of playing at the highest level. I mean,
Yeah, that
sure,
it
he
could be
not
another.
except for UCL. I just mean like league wise, maybe.
No,
Uh,
fair enough. Because it could be another David Moyes. Because like
exactly.
David Moyes was brilliant at Everton. He was doing a brilliant job. He comes to United, and I was reading this. Again, I get most of my footballing info from Twitter. But if David Moyes hadn't managed United before, his name would
He
be
would be the
yeah, it'd
perfect
be the top of
right now.
the list for to manage United right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of
I
funny.
feel
It's kind
like people are shouting out to Brendan Rodgers too. He is
of
probably, I don't know.
nah.
Uh,
Dude, I mean, he's a serial bottler, dude. He was bottled top four twice. He bottled the Premier League once with Liverpool. Like, sure, he's gotten Leicester to play well. They've had smart recruitment, but I mean, if you want to talk about a manager who's gonna get you trophies and all that, I don't think he got an FA Cup.
why are you
Fair enough,
taking
but
David Moyes' name then?
no, I'm not taking David Moyes. I'm just saying that if David Moyes hadn't managed,
Yeah, even
he
if he
would
hadn't
probably be on the
managed,
list.
he would
He would
be
probably
West
be on
Ham's
the list.
manager, and I don't know, he would be doing well, but he won't have had the trophies, right?
But Brendan Rodgers managed Liverpool, so it's like I
Mm.
mean we've had an I mean in our history we've had Liverpool people coming in and doing good job like Sir Matt Busby in like the 60s, but recently nah. Especially when Liverpool was so successful right now, I don't want to handle the whole
I really
criticism. It's
don't
like
think managers come with such things, but yeah,
it's
I mean, it's always, I don't
like,
know,
you can look
as
at it at
fans,
Everton.
it's
No, I have a few Everton fans. It's like it's so easy to see that Everton are actually doing pretty decent this season. I
Mhm.
mean, considering their recruitment, they paid what £1 million for Demari Gray or something like that was their recruitment this season,
That's
and with
crazy.
Sigurdsson missing for unspeakable unspeakable reasons, it's like they're doing good. And the thing I see about Everton fans is that the tolerance level for bad form is very low, and that's probably because of their manager being associated with Liverpool, like through
It's
Liverpool's
always an
probably.
easy scapegoat, I think, for people to point
Yeah,
at.
like you have like 2-3
His
bad
head is
games and
not
his job is
here.
on the line. Yeah, his job is on the line. So I don't want that kind of, because United, as close as we are to, winning things, we need like someone who can steady the ship, because we have talent. We have talent, and we have like, youth
I
players
really
who are
don't
gonna.
know how anyone can be better than Conte in that case, except for the fact that he doesn't play the most attractive football. I feel
Dude,
like
like every
for
club,
United to
he causes
find,
an issue after 2 years. After 2 years, like Juventus, after 2 years, he caused an issue.
but the
Chelsea after
problem
two
is,
years, yeah,
if you are looking for a manager who you want to start again from ground up, then Conte is not your man. But if you're looking for a manager who can come in, who can use an extremely talented team and start winning right away, I think Conte is your man. It can't get any better than that. And I feel like
yeah,
he is perfect for that because he doesn't stay beyond 2 years, whatever, but he wins your stuff. He will get back that belief in fans and in the team that
yeah,
is
yeah.
required. And he already has such a great
Yeah, he's
bunch
a
of
good
players
CV.
under him.
Yeah, he has a. I mean, that's there, but it's like, I don't know, like. I mean, it's fair enough, because like, he's gonna definitely bring defensive solidity, which we desperately need, because
Exactly.
he's known to be, a defensively astute coach. And yeah, maybe he is the person we need to, shake things up, get someone who's, because like Mourinho is the exception, but apart from Mourinho, we've had like, very uh, not very aggressive managers, like not in their tactics maybe, but like in their personality. But
Right.
Conte is this guy who's he doesn't care about the board. He knows what he wants in the team. He know what he has to do. So maybe we need someone to, go against the board. Like right now, the board are sitting happy because, Ole, he doesn't. Maybe some people say that behind the scenes he's very demanding, but it's hard to believe that when you see his, on during his persona during interviews or during games. He
Right.
like fucking we're losing 2-0 there, and he's just sitting on his chair with his,
Yeah.
with his legs
I
crossed, and
personally feel that, like, I think we have talked about this, but he's a great manager. He's brought in the best talents into the squad, but he's
not a good
not a good
coach.
coach.
Yeah,
Not a good
I
coach.
agree.
You
Yeah,
can see that in
it's
the way
yeah,
the team is organized, defensively,
very naive.
especially.
Wow, yeah,
Very,
it's
very
very
nice.
naive. Yeah,
I feel like they don't play as a unit. They have brilliance in different parts of the field, sure, but as a unit, that compactness is missing.
yeah, yeah.
I
He's
didn't appreciate this as much before, but I feel like I see that quite a lot in Chelsea and in Liverpool, where the whole team plays very compactly and very disciplinedly. And
yeah,
that is
yeah.
something
That's
that you
coaching.
really
That's
need.
purely
That's
coaching.
pure
Yeah,
coaching.
that's
You don't get that out of anything else.
yeah, yeah. United, it's like
So,
just vibes, dude. No tactics, just vibes. Pass the
exactly.
ball forward and hopefully someone scores.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it works out like 60% of the time, I think, but 40% will cost you trophies. So
Yeah. No, the thing is, it's like you can't play. That's not a sustainable way to play football,
definitely
because
not.
you're gonna have games where all your strikers are out of form. That's when you need, like, if you have a system, you can at least get a 0-0 out of the game.
Right.
So if you're conceding a goal or two every game, it's like, like you have to score two at least to get a result, and that's a lot of, pressure on your
Too much.
attackers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
never easy against any
Bruno's
Premier
been
League team.
delivering, Rashford's been delivering, but still, it's a lot of pressure on attackers to get goals, because scoring goals is the hardest part of football. Like, defending is not exactly easy, but you can always put men behind the ball. Like try to crowd the players. We have like we are we are good in the air with like Maguire and
I think
Varane.
it's
So
as
it's like
simple as the good old saying where they say defenses don't let you lose matches, but attacking wins you matches. So I feel
exactly, yeah.
like
Yeah, if
that's
you
the
want
small
titles,
difference,
if
I
you want
think.
trophies, you need to have a
You
solid
need to.
defense, because yeah, I mean Chelsea, what they've conceded. Oh my God, dude, they conceded
Three
like
three
three
goals this
goals.
season.
We conceded five
Crazy.
the last game.
It's
Last game we
crazy.
conceded
I
five.
don't know
Yeah,
how they conceded three. I think City
that's
conceded 4 or 5. Pool
mhm.
conceded 6.
Yeah,
About it.
that's how that's proper solid defending. Yeah,
Exactly.
that too. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks to talk about these teams. Yeah,
So the last topic before we call it a day,
yeah.
surprise topic from my side. Pick your
Go for
top
it.
4 for the season. Top 6
Ooh,
actually.
pretty
I need
top.
Spurs in that.
You want Spurs to be included?
Maybe, hopefully. I'm not sure if you will include it,
Okay.
but I will probably.
I mean, I think the top three is fixed. I don't know what order. Okay? If you want me to pick an order right now,
From your
I think
gut.
I'd go Liverpool, Chelsea, City. I think Liverpool are gonna pip it. I think if anyone's gonna win it this season or three, I think Liverpool have the best shot because Salah is basically the best player in the world right now. Like you can't even argue about the fact. Fourth,
Comes from a United fan. Pleasing to hear.
United. I mean, I genuinely think Ole. It's about when and not if his sacking. It's definitely gonna happen because the form that we are in, I don't think you can come back from this because like when you're playing football where you have some negatives, like say you're playing good but you're not able to finish. You're playing good, you're scoring, but sometimes you're conceding. If that's the case, you can do something to freshen the team up, like maybe change formations, like bring in some new personnel, like rest Maguire, play Varane or something, and turn it around. But it's pathetic. We're losing 5-0, and that too after Liverpool took their pedal off the feet of the pedal. They were cruising for the second half. They could have scored 3-4 goals more at least, I feel.
Yeah.
So if what's going to happen is United going to sack Ole, get in a Conte who's going to slap everyone, get them back to business. And I don't think we have a lot of competition this year by how it looks for fourth place. Like if we can get our act together, we have the quality to go and get that fourth place. Fifth and sixth. Fifth and sixth.
I think they are the most hard ones to pick, especially because there are quite a few teams.
It's gonna be difficult. I mean, to be completely honest, I think Arsenal have a shout. I mean, maybe it's too early to say. They were pretty bad last game, but Arsenal have a shout. I don't think I'll pick Arsenal though. West Ham. I think West Ham's gonna say finish sixth, and I'll give it to you guys. I'll give it to you guys so far. Spurs. I mean, maybe Harry Kane, gets back to form during Christmas and back to his, goal scoring best. That's. But the thing why I think Arsenal have a shot is that they don't have midweek football. The fact that Europe, like West Ham need to play in Europe, and they have like a very thin squad. Like they'll have, sometimes they can't
take all
play.
That into consideration for your top six.
Because I remember last time West Ham or West Brom, one of the teams were in the top, were in the Europa League. They struggled massively in the Prem. One of these.
It can't be West Brom.
It's probably West Brom. Not who am I thinking of?
How
I think it's West Brom. No, it's not West Brom.
West Brom got relegated last season.
No. I'm not recent past. Like say 6 years ago or whatever. Okay. It's like I remember some team getting into one of these like okay teams getting into Europe. Wolves. Yes, Wolves. Yeah. Wolves. Yeah. Wolves had a bad season when they were in Europe because they were they had trouble managing football. So probably West Ham are gonna get affected. Then who else? Brighton. Yes. They converted XG into G's this season. Tariq Lamptey is back for Brighton. I'm a fan of Graham Potter.
Good. I watched him play. He came in as a sub, I think. He just good. Changed the game. Like
he's so solid.
Good. He tried
FPL asset.
So much.
Keep in mind, he's a proper FPL asset.
Make my transfers.
Yeah, same. You don't have to change my team.
Lamptey is really good.
Lamptey is a solid. Yeah, Lamptey is a solid player. He has that proper attacking threat. Like Brighton don't have those. Yeah.
Is he English? He is.
Yeah, Tariq Lamptey is English. Yeah.
English.
So
might get a call if they do well.
Brighton sixth. That'd be like my surprise pick of the year. I think Brighton finishing sixth.
Okay. Then where is West Ham? Below.
Yeah, seventh or eighth. Like Pakka top 10. It's just
I don't know. I feel like you're putting Spurs just for me, which is not cool. I think you should. I personally I mean, if you can change your lineup.
Maybe it's too early to call. Because the fixture swing hasn't happened. Some teams have had easy fixtures. Some teams have had hard fixtures. Maybe when we do this episode, end of November, early December, before the full Christmas congestion, maybe I can have a better answer to your question.
Definitely, I think at least halfway through is the right place to discuss this. I mean, why not?
Go for it.
First, I think it'll be either City or Chelsea. I don't think Pool will win it just because of AFCON. That's just my guess.
Oh, but I actually looked at the fixtures and they aren't too bad.
I heard they missed 7 to 8 games.
No. It's just 2 or 3 games. In the Prem, it's 2 or 3 games. I see. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, if you remove Salah from that team,
a good point, dude. That's a good fuck. I didn't think of that.
Sure. I mean, they are still a pretty good team, but I feel like Salah is doing way too much in that team right now.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, Salah
Uh,
and Mane. It's like you can't like rely on Mane for those 3 weeks.
yeah.
You have to play like
Mane,
Jota
I don't know. It was so surprising to not see Mane in the starting 11 against United. I don't know.
and
Like,
they still
I was
they
shocked.
still won.
They still won like anything. But whatever.
That's
I feel
that's
like
a bad game.
I have a feeling that Chelsea will nick this, but it's hard to say that. It's just Pep. I really trust him.
Pep, your boy Jack Grealish doing absolutely nothing in left wing.
I
How does
feel,
it feel?
I mean, he has created the most chances in Premier League this season after
Oh
Bruno.
no,
After Bruno.
after Bruno, after you give
After
the
Bruno.
boy the respect, huh?
Yeah, which is not bad. I mean, he is doing stuff. Sure, he's not getting the end product, but he just started. He's just started in the new team,
Fair.
new manager, completely different system. So maybe just give him some time. Hopefully next season he'll show that he's actually good, or he'll just show that he's just bang average. Let's see. But yeah, I think it'll be. Actually, I'll just give it to City, Lord. I can't go
Okay,
against Pep. I'm
fine.
a big fan.
City, Chelsea, Liverpool.
City, Chelsea. No, it's like Chelsea will either come first or third. That's my
Oh,
prediction.
okay.
Okay, Chelsea will be
Huh.
good enough to win the title, or they'll
Okay.
flunk to come third.
Okay.
So I think if I'm picking City, I'll pick Liverpool, Chelsea, United. Uh, 5 and 6 is impossible to pick, bro. I think.
I like that you're backing us.
Yeah, you definitely have the squad to make it to top four, and no one is even close. I feel like I'll put Arsenal in top six. I feel like they will try to do their best this season because Arteta has had his time to settle down. He has a squad which kind of trusts his game, I think. But I don't know. I think they'll come either fifth or sixth. I'd say sixth. Fifth, it's very hard for me to say Spurs. I don't think they'll come in top six, honestly.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think just because I want them to be there, I'll put.
Okay. No, it's fine. You can be biased. You don't have to be fully rational. It's fine. I mean, I mean, I kind of for a second, thought that I should put United at first, but then I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't subject our viewers to my, my extreme views this early into our
We'll make one
podcast career.
episode where we are extremely honest about every single opinion.
Dude,
and then
treble,
that'll be
the treble incoming. That's all. Oh my
You
God, I
remember
can't
your
even
theory
fucking
that you remember your theory that United finished fourth in 2017, third in 2018, second in 2019, or whatever, 1920, and you're like,
Numero uno, papi. Numero uno.
Dude,
Dude.
they'll come 11th, I
Can't
think,
do.
if they keep
Yeah,
playing
like
like
we're
this.
already 8 points behind Chelsea. 8 points is a lot, dude. 8 points
8 is
is
a
a
lot,
lot to
especially
catch
for
up.
a team or for teams which look very solid. I
Yeah,
feel like those three teams, it's very hard to catch up unless you
yeah.
immediately take
No,
extreme.
because like for the sake of our progress through seasons, we need Champions League. We can't have like breaks in Champions League now, because I don't think Ronaldo's gonna stay if we don't get Champions League. He's not gonna
Yeah.
play in the Europa League. Hell no.
Well,
So
what will you do if you finish third in your group?
we're not gonna finish third. It's fine.
I see.
So I mean,
Never
fuck,
say
I
never,
shouldn't say this.
Ranchi.
I shouldn't jinx it. But I mean, we're top of the league. I think if we get one more win, I think we should be kind of safe. I mean,
Top
we
of
have
the
like 3
group, you
games to.
mean?
Yeah, top of the group. One more.
League in your dreams, bro.
We were, dude. For 2 weeks we
Well,
were
even
top
we
of the
were
league.
for the first 3 weeks. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that's about it, I guess. I think we have covered everything we wanted to talk about this episode.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. So how does it feel? We have come to the end of the episode. Let's
Good, I think.
take
I mean, finally we have made something out of our chats. Nothing,
yeah.
not for nothing. Yeah, hopefully we keep doing this more regularly. I think we will.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
like
like we just need to get started. We just need to get it. Like I think we were a bit too formal this episode. I think over the episodes we'll get more
we'll
comfortable,
loosen down.
talking to each other. So
definitely.
yeah.
Which is weird to say also, but whatever. Known each other for 7 years, I think. 6-7 years.
Yeah. It's a long time.
Cool.
All right then. That was a good
chat.
episode. yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Hopefully, people have some insights which they probably already had if someone's watching this. But
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thanks a lot for your time and watching.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot
Thanks
for
a lot for your
wasting your
time.
time along with us, actually.
Absolutely,
Cool.
absolutely. But we promise that we'll be less rational in the coming episodes. Yes, we'll bring our true footballing side into the front. All
Cool.
right then.
Peace.
See you guys next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.